My fiancée posted, "Boyfriends are replaceable. Best friends are forever." I quietly disabled her black card. When she and her forever friend returned to the apartment, she gasped to find her best friend, wearing her engagement ring and smilingly holding the deed to the $1 million house that was supposed to be hers. I still don't know whether that moment felt more like justice or heartbreak, but I do know it was the first time in months I finally breathed without feeling like I was begging someone to notice me. My name's Daniel, I'm 33, and until last year I thought I was marrying the love of my life, a woman named Madison, 28, who used to make my world feel warm and grounded. I met her at a spring fundraiser my firm sponsored, and she was this whirlwind of competence and charm. Clipboard in hand, headset on, running between tables with organized chaos swirling around her, somehow making everything look effortless. I remember joking, "Do you ever take a break?" And she shot back, "Breaks are for people who can afford to be unproductive," with this little smirk that made it sound clever instead of arrogant. Little did I know that line wasn't cute foreshadowing. It was a red flag disguised as ambition. Things went fast. We started dating. Spent weekends trying new restaurants, taking little road trips, laughing about dumb inside jokes. Back then, she didn't have this obsession with perfection and aesthetics and online approval. She was messy and real and funny. But as her social circle grew, her priorities shifted, slowly at first, then all at once. She started hanging out with 4 women she called her lifelong circle: Katie, Brianna, Shelby, and Maya. They were inseparable, like a little PR board of each other's lives. Matching bracelets, coordinated outfits, scrapbook vacations, group selfies that looked more like brand campaigns and friendships. It started cute. It became invasive. Every plan she and I made had to pass through their group chat, like some approval board. Want a weekend trip? Oh, but Katie's hosting a candle pouring party. Dinner date? Sorry, Brianna's boyfriend dumped her again. Quiet night in? Well, the girls are doing a mandatory self-care spa night, and she has to be there. I told myself it was temporary. I didn't want to be the jealous partner who couldn't handle his fiancée having friends. But over time, I noticed something. The girls weren't just her friends. They were her reality. Everything else, including me, became background noise. The moment things truly shifted for me was stupid small, but it stuck. I had this long week at work. Exhausting. Barely slept, and I planned a quiet dinner for just us. Her favorite wine, her favorite pasta, candles lit, soft music. She came home, gave me a quick kiss, saw the setup and said, "Oh, babe, I totally forgot. Shelby had a meltdown today. I need to be with her." I asked, "Can it wait? Just a night?" She looked at me like I was a stranger asking for something unreasonable. "Friendship doesn't wait, Dan. You should understand that." And she left. That became the blueprint. I was always second, or third, or last. And then came the post. Last summer, I woke up, checked my phone, and suddenly I was tagged in a photo I wasn't even in, a picture of Madison and her lifelong circle at some fancy rooftop pool in Miami, all wearing matching pink robes with champagne in hand. The caption read, "Boyfriends are replaceable. Best friends are forever." No engagement ring on her hand. No mention of me. And the comments? Poor Dan LOL. He'll live. Girl, you're glowing without him. I just stared at that photo for so long the screen dimmed twice. I didn't comment. Didn't call. Didn't ask. Something inside me just clicked off, like a switch I didn't know existed. That's when I froze her black card. Then I called my lawyer and canceled the co-ownership paperwork for the penthouse I was planning to gift her after the wedding. She had no idea how close she was to owning half of it. While she spent the weekend laughing in stories and posing for boomerangs, I spent it packing the photos, the wedding binders, the cute his and hers mugs she insisted we buy, even though she barely spent time at home anymore. I didn't rage. I didn't cry. I just detached. She got home Sunday night, heels clacking across the hardwood, dragging luggage behind her, smelling like tropical sunscreen and expensive perfume. "Danny, I'm home," she called. I stayed in the kitchen. When she found me, she launched into trip highlights like nothing happened, how the champagne was unlimited, how they met a celebrity chef, how Brianna almost got kicked out of the club. I just held up my phone and showed her the caption. Her smile flickered, but she shrugged. Oh my God, you're not seriously mad. It was a joke, a vibe. Everyone thought it was funny. Everyone except the person you're supposed to marry, I said. She rolled her eyes so hard I felt the floor shift. Dan, you're so sensitive. It's just content. Not everything is personal. Then why do you treat our relationship like content? I asked. She laughed under her breath, this cold, dismissive exhale. You really want to control how I look online. That's your issue, not mine. And something about the way she said it made me realize we weren't having a fight. We were having an ending. I quietly told her the card was disabled and the penthouse paperwork was canceled. She went pale. Wait, what? You didn't even talk to me. I tried, I said. You never listened. I grabbed my coat and walked out. The next morning she called 15 times. Her friends texted, saying she was devastated. But the only message that stuck with me was hers. You didn't even give me a chance to explain. But she'd had so many chances, and every one of them got overridden by a group chat. A year passed. Slowly, quietly, I moved into a smaller place near my office. Stopped checking her socials. Focused on work, gym, sleep. It was boring at first, but in that boredom I started feeling something I didn't realize I'd been missing. Peace. Then at a friend's engagement party, I met someone. Her name was Claire. She worked in design, had just moved back to the States after grad school abroad. She wasn't flashy or loud. She talked softly but confidently. And when we laughed, it wasn't for a camera, it was just us. Halfway through our conversation, she mentioned she used to know Madison back in college, part of that same group before things fell apart. She said something I won't forget. They always looked perfect, but it always felt like performance art. We started seeing each other, slowly, quietly. No posts, no branding, just presence. Months later, when I moved back into the penthouse for work convenience, Claire helped me decorate it. She made the place feel lived in, warm, like someone actually breathed in it instead of posing for pictures. And then one Sunday, while we were unpacking books, the doorbell rang. I opened the door and froze. Madison. Her perfect hair was still perfect, but her eyes weren't bright anymore. She looked like someone who'd been holding her breath for too long. Hey, she said softly. I know I shouldn't just show up. I just needed to talk. I told her I'd received her messages. I just didn't think there was anything left to say. She nodded, glanced past me, and then she saw Claire, barefoot, wearing one of my shirts, setting flowers in a vase. And then she saw the ring on Claire's hand. She whispered, voice barely holding together, That's my ring. No, I said quietly. It's just a ring. Claire gave it meaning again. Madison swallowed hard. And the apartment? You finished the transfer? Months ago, I said. She made it a home. Her eyes filled, but she didn't break down. She just stared at the floor. I didn't come to beg, she whispered. I came to say I'm sorry. You didn't deserve the way I treated you. I nodded. Maybe we both needed to lose something to learn what love isn't. She weakly smiled. I used to think forever meant the people you laugh with the most. Turns out it's the people you can be quiet with. I glanced back at Claire arranging flowers, humming softly to herself. Yeah, I said. I learned that too. Madison looked at Claire again, really looked calm, secure, present. The opposite of everything she used to chase. She stepped back, wiped her tears, and whispered, She's good for you, Dan. She is, I said, before leaving. She glanced one last time around the apartment. The life she could have had if she treated it like something valuable instead of something replaceable. She gave a small, real smile. Take care of her. And yourself. When the door closed, I didn't feel triumph. I didn't feel revenge. I felt done. Claire walked over and laced her fingers with mine. No speech. No questions. Just quiet warmth. Madison once posted, Boyfriends are replaceable. Maybe she was right. But respect isn't. Peace isn't. Love isn't. And for the first time in a long, long time, I finally have all three. Thank you for listening.